This is Graduate a CEO, what it takes and what it means to become an entrepreneur, and why college is the perfect time to start your business. Here's Jim Hunter.
Thanks for joining me once again for my conversation with Isaac Hetzroni, the founder and CEO of Imprint Genius. We've been discussing the jump from dorm room to boardroom and becoming a disruptor in the world of promotional items and custom apparel. Isaac, the remote nature of your business is unusual in some respects. Can you break down your management structure and who's involved in the day-to-day at Imprint Genius?
Yeah, so we have managers that manage different departments. We have someone that's kind of on the management side of also on an HR to kind of manage all that kind of stuff. For the most part, everyone's like employees. And then we have different contractors that we have for different kinds of projects as well. We have a US-based company, and we also have a Philippines-based company.
Great. What would you say is your biggest accomplishment for Imprint Genius so far?
I mean, I was pretty proud. We were ranked, we were named the number one fastest growing promotional products company in our entire industry. And there's 20,000 companies in our industry. This is back in 2020. So, having that kind of growth felt really good. And again, kind of the acknowledgement around it. But on the personal side, just being able to have such a dedicated team that I feel like comes in every day and loves what they do. And we have so much fun together, and everyone really gets excited. So being able to support people and their lifestyles and pay people well, and that's been the most satisfactory thing for me.
That's terrific. Companies that are successful generally have a good culture. And it sounds like you've developed a good culture in your business. What do you think are some of the elements that create that good culture that you've got?
Having very set core values is a really important piece. I'd also say that, remembering that you work for your employees, you have to, be a different boss for every employee, but also you have to make sure that they're happy with what they're doing. And if you have the mindset that they're working for you, then it's just going to create more of a toxic environment. I think making that, having the emotional intelligence, it took me a very long time to become emotionally intelligent. I don't think I was a good manager for the first probably 4 years of the company. Once I was able to switch over and really, understand where people came from, look at any type of issue or problem from their shoes, have a lot more honesty and humility when it came to my management style, having a lot more fun, remembering that if you can have fun, and maybe your employees can have fun, and then they're going to look at things more positively. I mean, it's a long answer to your question, but I think just being human can create good culture.
That's terrific. And a lot of people can't do it. You've done it, and you certainly should be commended for that, because not every company has been able to create a culture of that employees really enjoy coming to work. So that's great. Congratulations on that part. How do you balance innovation and risk-taking with stability and consistency?
Yeah, I think we took a lot more risks and we're a little crazier back when I was in college. And I think that's a real benefit of running a company in college is, you can be so risky, because worst case, your company just goes to zero and then you become another broke college kid. You have so much freedom here to fail. So we were doing crazy stuff. I mean, we had people sewing RFID chips into t-shirts and building carbon offsetting calculators. And we had this and we submitting patents on new products. We were having a crazy time in college and having tons of fun with it. And I would never do that kind of stuff now, right? With all the things that are at stake and the amount of money that goes into that. But back in the day, we were able to really find our footing by just taking these bigger risks. So I'd say the smaller the company is, earlier on, that's kind of the best time to really play around. And then eventually once you figure out your market fit and your product and all that, you can be a little more strategic with how you take on risk.
So you've balanced innovation and risk taking, maybe with a little more stability now than what you had in college.
Yeah, for sure.
Tell me, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start their own business while in college?
The biggest thing is first off, do it, and second is you just have to get started. So I think a lot of people think that you have to be like just thinking around the water cooler and like, sitting in boardrooms and writing, drinking beers and writing on whiteboards until you come up with, oh my God, we're going to create this next Uber, right? I'd say that, that's how it happens in the movies and that's how people think about how startups start. But majority of successful companies out there come just from consistent innovation within a business or being hyper focused within a specific niche and truly understanding a niche and then finding a small area to innovate within it. It doesn't necessarily always come like with these like grandiose ideas. So what I would, long story short, what I'd say is like, just get started, like start some kind of business that you're somewhat passionate about, and things will slowly like evolve and you will find the business within it. And like I didn't start off freshman year of college being like, I'm going to create a global product sourcing agency. I started off saying, hey, I can buy these fans for $1 and sell them for $5. Like let's make $4 and see what happens. And then okay, now we can sell 1,000 fans for $3, but make $2,000 on one sale instead of having to sell the drunk girls at tailgates. And then can we sell other products? So it's just constant, snowballing. So yeah, just do it. And yeah, worst case is you fail and you're broke again in college and you start again. You're fine.
Well, we didn't coin the phrase, but just do it seems to be pretty darn good advice for somebody to start a business, regardless of what it is. Just do it.
100%. Yeah, and the other thing is, I think starting a business in college is so helpful for you to digest what you're learning, especially if you're doing a business degree in college. What I realized when I was running my business in college was that I was able to, when I was learning a lesson in marketing or in management or whatever it was, I was able to apply what the professor was talking about in class directly to, the lesson I was learning, and maybe even use my company as a case study when I'm writing a like sales document or like, and what it allowed me to do is it allowed me to digest the information very effectively, and I didn't have to study as much. I truly understood the information. I wasn't cramming it. So I felt like I was getting better grades and improving my business and just having stronger comprehension overall. It really did feel like a hack.
Well, that's quite a testimony. If you talk to a college professor, they may think that, well, like starting your business in college is a diversion, but you're saying no, it's building on what you're learning in college in a business degree.
For sure. And I think some professors, at least from my experience, some professors were understood that, right? And they were super supportive of this kind of stuff. And I had other professors that were very against it and saying, no, you can't use your own company as an example. And I would love to send them an email now and kind of tell them that and remind them, about like how helpful it can be.
Great. Tell me, what are your future goals for Imprint Genius?
We want to continually work on larger, more complex projects, helping out, the biggest companies in the world with their procurement and product sourcing. But a big goal for me is also, just become the very best in the world at what I do, and become an absolute expert in everything product sourcing. Like kind of like a BHAG goal I personally have within the sourcing guy is to eventually be able to work with the commerce boards of countries and be able to fly to a place like Nigeria and show off the coolest factories that and products that are being produced within that country to the world, and then make it easier and less scary for people to source from more unique places that have amazing production. They just don't have the marketing like China does with Alibaba.
Your business has been kind of advertising specialties, but what you're talking about here is general sourcing of all kinds of products beyond ad specialties. Do I understand that correctly?
Yeah, it's an adaptation we made during COVID, actually, with the ad specialties market dropping so substantially with there being no live events. So we started sourcing outside of the industry, working with actual e-commerce brands, helping source their new products, and that's what helped us grow so rapidly through COVID, as well as our technology within the ad specialty space. And what I found was that it's a natural market of like where the ad specialty industry is going. People want more quality retail products when it comes to merchandise, and the lines are really being blended. So half of our business is still ad specialties, but we're able to utilize our global supply chain and retail products and then supply that to large companies that need ad specialties, because at the end of the day, ad specialties and general sourcing, it's the same thing, except you can just create a higher quality product at a lower price point if you go direct to the manufacturer like we do.
Well, having been to the Canton Fair several times myself, and just witnessing the broad array of products there, it certainly is just not ad specialties at all. It's any kind of product that you can imagine. So if you're there possibly twice a year or whatever it is, you'd be exposing yourself to many thousands of products that could be used in other parts of the world. So I think
For sure.
that is one good source. Do you have other fairs that you go to that are good sources?
Yeah, I'd say the like I haven't been to it yet, but the Hong Kong Fair is going to be great. There's a good apparel show in Jakarta. There are some shows in India. So, and then there's the promotional product kind of based shows domestically. Those are the main kind of shows I'm focused on right now. But the goal is to continually, we source other ways as well outside of just going to fairs and physical products. We have a bunch of different unique methods. Going to fairs is obviously, and going to the trade shows and seeing the products in person is huge. And to talk about kind of like the variety of product as well and sourcing products, the reason why the fans worked like back in the day as a promotional product was because it wasn't a promotional product. The fact that we were sourcing these products directly from a factory in China and they never hit the promotional products industry, and that's what made them so successful as a promotional product, was because it was so unique, it was so different that people would see it at trade shows and events and they would love it. So we're using that same philosophy that I started the business with now 6.5 years later, but in a much more diverse, broader fashion.
Well, terrific. Gosh, this has been a very interesting discussion, and we certainly appreciate your sharing these thoughts with us. This has been really great. Thank you so much.
Of course, Jim. Thanks so much for having me and having me in your book. And yeah, it was a pleasure.
And that will do it for this installment of Graduate a CEO. Thank you for tuning in, and if you like the show, please consider subscribing to receive future episodes automatically. Additionally, if you could spare a moment to leave a review, it would be greatly appreciated and could help other aspiring entrepreneurs discover the show. Thank you for listening, and take care until next time.
This has been Graduate a CEO with Jim Hunter. If you'd like to connect with Jim and learn more about why you should consider starting a business while in college, go to jameshunter.com. Graduate a CEO is a production of Advantage Audio.